everybody, my name is Chronic and welcome to a new video. Hi, it's been a while, I know, I'm late as always. This is my first book review ever, and as you can see by my amazing setup, it's in the midst of me moving out of my apartment. Wow, good for me. Yes, I know. Yes, guys, I know this video is old. Yes, I know I've been moved in for a while. I know that the intro is different from my more recent videos. That is fine. It is an old video, but I hope to be doing more book reviews in the future, so it's coming out. It's here. You like it or you don't like it. I will be posting newer videos soon, but for now you get this one. Yeah. Enjoy. Today, I think I have a pretty good book to recommend. I hope to do these at least once or twice a month, so let me just say, this is the book for today. It's called Good Girls Die First. It is a murder mystery, kind of. They very quickly figure out who is getting murdered by who. I'm gonna read you the plot on the back so that you kind of get an idea of what's going on before I tell you a little bit about it. Mind games, deception, murder. How far would you go to survive? Ava is one of 10 people invited to the abandoned amusement park on Portgrave Pier. Even though she thought her secret was safe, the invitation makes it clear that someone knows what she tried to keep private. As the night wears on, Ava realizes each of the 10 has something to hide, something to fear. Fog and magic swallow the pier. They are cut off from everything but one another and the mysterious host who brought them together. Rumor has it that the pier is haunted and an unseen evil compels the 10 to turn on one another and begin revealing the darkest secrets, and one by one, they die. How far will Ava go to be the last one standing? Now that sounded pretty cool when I picked it up at Barnes & Noble, and let me tell you, I was pleasantly surprised. It is pretty cool, you know? Now I do have a few notes that I took during the reading to tell you, just in case you were curious about how this book entices you, maybe pulls you away. It's kind of like my own review of things that go on in the book. First of all, let me introduce you to the two biggest characters, I would say, which is Ava, obviously the main character, and her friend Jolie, or Joel. Jolie? I've been calling her Jolie the whole time. Jolie, Jolie. Now, Ava is a pretty cool character. It's fun to see how the whole situation kind of makes her turn into someone that she could have been since the beginning, someone that she may have been, but that we're going along with this journey with her to really figure out if she is or isn't the murderer that this person is trying to make her. And Jolie is my least favorite character in the entire book. Oh my God, she's just the worst. Supposedly Jolie is Ava's best friend. BESTFRIEND. But she non-stop makes Ava's life harder the entire book up until the very end when they try to give her a redeeming arc. And let me tell you, I did not enjoy that redeeming arc. I found it to be kind of pushy. But other than her, every other 9 of the characters, even the bad guy, Whispers, is really quite good. They're all pretty good characters. It's just Jolie who cannot get her character straight. Most of the time, she is a reverse pick-me girl. She's like, I hate boys. I hate girls. Nobody's cool enough for me. I'm quirky like that. It annoyed me so bad that I found myself wishing the entire book that she was the next to die. Does she die? I'm not going to tell you, but man, I was hoping. But Ava is this really cool character, and her whole thing is that she takes pictures of everything. She's trying to be an Instagram influencer, and it's really cool because she takes so many photos and her camera comes into play so many times, and it's very nice to see something like that because the whole time is social media influencing her negatively? Is that who she was meant to be? Is she using it correctly? It's a very cool tidbit to see added onto this character, and I think it adds a lot to her character. Now, the next thing I'd like to mention is that the enemy comes in chapter 1. Chapter 1. So you don't even meet some of the other good guys until later on. They're not really good guys. Everybody in this is kind of a little bit of a bad guy. But the big thing is like the main enemy, Whispers, this really incredible entity. He gets introduced in chapter 1. And you don't really get to find out a whole lot about him until chapters in their 20s, but he's really quite cool, you know? He does a lot to just warp the world around him, and the biggest place that happens is on the island. Moving on, I do have one complaint about all these characters that I've really grown to love, and I did write down this complaint in my notes very early on, and I have to say, it kind of went through the whole thing. But this may not be a negative to a lot of people, and it sure didn't end out a negative for me. Sometimes these teenagers don't act like teenagers. Sometimes they act like stereotypes of teenagers, and I think a lot of them are meant to be stereotypes. There's Ollie the strongman, there's Scarlett the bitch, Teddy the alcoholic. Like there's a lot of stereotyping going on, and there's a lot of words that are exchanged between characters that I know from my experience don't ever get exchanged anywhere near a high school. So just saying, be cautious. If you are reading this before high school, maybe don't take it as like the word of high school. Welcome back. My phone is charged because I don't know if you knew this, but my phone died, so I had to shut off my recording and let it charge. Also, my dog is here. He loves making entrances into my videos. So another complaint that I do have is not a huge one. They fix this pretty quickly, but at first it feels like there may be too many characters for the author to fully express. This is only really in the first 2 chapters that everybody is in, but once that kind of settles down and everybody has their character, that very quickly turns into a very good dynamic between certain characters, very harsh dynamics between others, but all in a very good way, you know? Everybody is exactly where they need to be. Now, the horror aspect of the book starts taking place around chapter 5, but really ramps up by chapter 12. So just be warned that the first few chapters are kind of just introducing people, getting to know the setting, stuff like that. But by chapter 5, you start getting a little more of the... So the next thing I have to tell you about this book is that the whole book revolves around guilt. Guilt and regret. And by chapter 19, you kind of get this feeling in your stomach. Like, you remember everything that you're really guilty of, big things in life that you've done that maybe you shouldn't, and you feel kind of awful in the way that only books can. You know, it's why I think this book is really worth a read despite some of its downfalls, is just because that feeling of like, oh God, if I was in this situation, would I survive? It makes you feel sick in a very good way, in a way that you don't want to put down the book, because the sooner the resolution comes, the sooner that feeling leaves your stomach. So it's an awesome book. It really is, and I cannot recommend it quite enough to young adults, maybe teenagers. I don't think I'd recommend it to people over like 30, just because I think it's been too long since maybe you were a teenager, maybe you can relate to the stereotypes, maybe since you've related to going to high school and stuff like that, you know? I don't know if I can recommend it, but it still might be worth your time if you found any of this information entertaining, if you thought that maybe any of this is worth it. So what do you think? Are you gonna pick up a copy of Good Girls Die First? Let me know. And if you do, let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you have any questions that you think we could talk about, let me know. That being said, guys, my name has been Chronic, and I will see you later. Bye.